So a family from Churchtown then is adjusting to a whole new world after a life-changing decision. Until 2 years ago, Roxy Wallace was a 17-stone bodyguard called Bob. That is, until he admitted to his wife Jo that he couldn't go on as he was and he wanted a sex change. With 2 children, and frankly as masculine a job as could be, it looked like it would be a difficult journey ahead for he and wife Jo. Now, as Roxy faces her final operation to complete her sex change, the couple spoke to me about life before and after Roxy.
Before we got married, Bob came and sort of said to me that he'd like to dress up in women's clothes. I think at the time, looking back now, he was sort of testing the waters to see what my reaction would be. I was only 19 when we met, so I was quite young and naive and just thought it was a sexual thing, didn't think anything more of it. And to be honest, he didn't elaborate on it. So I sort of said it wasn't something that I was interested in, and it was just suppressed even further then into him. And literally it wasn't until probably, just about 3 years ago, or 2.5 years ago, that sort of he came and said to me, this is a do or die situation. I can't carry on like this anymore. I really need to do something about this. And it all made sense then, really. All the depression, all the misery and everything that he'd been experiencing, made sense. And once we started going out, just initially once a month with him dressed up as Roxy, not even in Gloucester, we sort of moved, stayed out of town and stuff, and nobody in the area knew what was going on. But to see her so much happier and more confident as well, having seen somebody that was so depressed and unhappy, and wouldn't go out, but could quite easily go out, walk down the street, just blend into society, to somebody that had all the confidence in the world, but knew that they would be looked at, would be ridiculed for what they were doing. It was just such a complete different person, really.
I didn't want to die, so I had to do it. I had no choice in the matter. There could be a number of ramifications, mainly being lose my family. I still feel I had to go through and start my journey.
It did feel that much of a gamble, really. You didn't know for sure which way things would go. I had no
clue how things would go. If Jo turned around and said, I can't deal with this, I want to leave you, then I would have still continued. I had to do it, no matter what the ramifications that would happen because of it. My choice of wanting to become a female. I knew my friends would be understanding.
Did you?
If they were friends. If they weren't understanding, then obviously they weren't the friends I thought they were. I've still got them all as friends. We're stronger, we're closer because of it. And I've got a massive support network that includes them and new friends I've made since.
From my point of view, I'd spent so many years living with somebody that was so unhappy, so miserable, so depressed, and not knowing what the cause of that was. I knew it wasn't me. It wasn't anything that was going on effectively because of anything I was doing wrong. It wasn't anything to do with the family. It was something that was obviously inside of him. To have somebody that is so happy, that is so outgoing, so confident, and why would I walk away from that? That's my understanding of it. You love somebody for what's on the inside of them, not necessarily what's on the outside. So, it was it's an easier decision, to be honest, to carry on as we are, really.
How do you see Roxy now, or what would be your title if somebody said, "Who's this?" How would
She's
you describe?
She's my wife. That's just as it is, isn't it?
You're
really?
my hubby.
Yeah, and I'm the hubby now. No, I've never been the most feminine of female, shall we say? So, it's a bit of a role reversal in that respect. But no, I mean that's just a bit of banter and a bit of fun, really. But that's how we take life now. It's a lot happier. It's a lot nicer a situation to be in, really.
And you are, or you were a bouncer?
I was a bodyguard.
A bodyguard?
Yes.
You were a bodyguard?
I did close personal protection. Ultra masculine, yes.
Yeah. Is that something that you would continue to do as well?
I haven't got the physical strength anymore. I was about 17 stone, so I've lost the body mass now. I've still got some skills that I can help protect myself, but as far as physical strength goes, I haven't got it anymore, so I'm not capable of holding back any would-be attackers. So my career as a bodyguard or bodygirl is gone.
We'll hear more then from Roxy and wife Jo for you shortly. as they sort of enter a whole new part of their lives together and as a family. They've got 2 children, which we'll talk about in just a while. And in a little while you'll be able to see the couple on our Facebook page, on our Twitter feed. Here's Rick Astley.
We're no strangers to love. You know the rules, and so do I. I feel commitment's what I'm thinking of. You wouldn't get this from any other guy. I just wanna tell you how I'm feeling. Gotta make you understand. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you. Never gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye. Never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. We've known each other for so long. Your heart's been aching, but you're too shy to say it. Inside we both know what's been going on. We know the game and we're gonna play it. And if you ask me how I'm feeling, don't tell me you're too blind to see. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you. Never gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye. Never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you. Never gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye. Never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. Never gonna give, never gonna give. Never gonna give, never gonna give. We've known each other for so long. Your heart's been aching, but you're too shy to say it. Inside we both know what's been going on. We know the game and we're gonna play it. I just wanna tell you how I'm feeling. Gotta make you understand. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you. Never gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye. Never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you. Never gonna make you cry. Never gonna say goodbye. Never gonna tell a lie and hurt you.
Rick Astley, never going to give you up. Music from Spandau Ballet. And Yaz coming up. A look at the weather as well for you in the next 10 minutes. Hello, good morning. It's Anna King, BBC Radio Gloucestershire. Nice to have your company today. More now then from the Churchdown couple who are learning to adjust to, frankly, a very different life now. Joe was married to Bob, a 17-stone bodyguard, until 2 years ago when Bob finally admitted he was desperately unhappy and wanted a sex change. Now the couple and their 2 children are approaching the final stages of Bob's transition to Roxy, as he's now known. Having lost her own physical abilities, you heard there, to continue as a bodyguard because of her hormone treatment, I asked Roxy whether she'd experienced violence since she came out as transgender in public.
So I was sat outside Starbucks in Gloucester chatting to a friend called Helen, and a guy cycled past on a push bike, and lo and behold, 20 seconds later he came back walking with his bike, where he probably looked at me and said, "You're a freak, what on earth do you think you're doing dressed like that?" I didn't say anything, but Helen jumped to my aid, so to speak, and he started calling me a freak. I was disgusting. Do I like men? Do I like women? And he sort of walked around to the side where I got quite nervous, and he started calling people over saying, "Look at this freak, this is absolutely disgusting. I'd like to take you outside of Gloucester and sort you out." This abuse went on for a good 2 or 3 minutes, by which time Helen was stood between me and him, and in the end I think he just got bored with it and went away, which then I had to go and talk to Gloucestershire Police about, report it as a hate crime. They couldn't have been much more helpful than they were. By the time I got home, a couple of hours later, they were actually waiting for me at my front door, and they looked back on the CCTV cameras. They realised who the man was, and they asked me at the time if I wanted to press charges or just have a word with him. I said, have a word with him, please. I saw him in town the following morning, where he sort of scurried past me with his head held low and just whispered an expletive and carried on his way. Apart from that, no, I don't think I've ever felt in a situation where things could get out of control or where I felt threatened. But fair play to Gloucestershire Police. I think I'm one of the lucky ones. There's a lot of trans people out there who get that sort of abuse daily.
You've had good news today, because
Very, very good news.
which is a particularly good mood, because you've been waiting for this sort of final hurdle, which is your final operation.
Yes.
To change everything about you to female, and
Yes.
you've just heard that there's a cancellation, so
Yes,
the
I've
date
been
has come forward.
Yeah, I've been waiting for my first appointment with my consultant at the Nuffield in Brighton. And lo and behold, they just received cancellation. So I'll be going over to Brighton on Friday, which makes my whole journey about 4 or 5 months shorter.
And how are you feeling about that, Joe?
Yeah, no, absolutely fine. The sooner the journey's over, the quicker we can get on with our lives, really. There's a sort of long recovery period after the operation as well. So it's, obviously get the operation out of the way, let Roxy recover from that, and, life can begin again,
I'll
really.
no longer be a transgender female. I'll be a female with a transgender history. And that's the title I prefer.
Can I ask you something personal?
Of course you can.
Will you still be intimate? Will you still be a couple sexually?
Yes. I hope so.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, you can. They're quite capable of having a full and active sex life. The hormones have rewired my brain to a proper female, so I'll be able to experience everything that a true female does.
But for you, Joe, to be fair, you didn't originally sign up for that, did you? You didn't intend to be a lesbian, if you like. So,
no, and I don't class myself as being a lesbian now. I'm in a relationship with a person that I love. As I say, it doesn't matter what's on the it's more what's on the inside than what's on the outside, shall we say.
There isn't a process of grieving about the kind of relationship or the kind of sexual relationship that you won't have anymore. We
haven't had that for a long time anyway, because obviously taking female hormones, there's sort of no libido on Roxy's side anyway. So from that point of view, it's not been active.
And we've been together for 25 years, so sex isn't on our top priority list. Good bottle of wine and a nice TV drama.
Chocolate tea.
Yeah, definitely.
So you have a son and a daughter.
The son's mine, the daughter's Roxy's.
Yes, she's 30 and she lives in Newton Abbot in Devon, along with my 2 grandchildren. So
how do the children feel about all this?
I think my 2 grandchildren are very accepting. Taylor, who's only 4, has, the only thing he says is, why has Granny Roxy got such a deep voice? William, on the other hand, has been absolutely amazing. When I first told him...
This is your son?
Yes, when I first told him I was going to be his mum, he was, okay, that's fine. I said, I'm quite happy for you to carry on calling me Dad. You're not my daddy, you're my mummy Roxy. I can't call you Daddy. And he's called me Mummy Roxy ever since.
And how old is he?
He's
Just
9 now.
9.
He hates Bob and he never wants to see Bob again. Bob was angry. Bob never did anything. He loves his mummy Roxy. He loves having both of his mummies, but he never wants to see Bob again.
So do you think it's actually improved the relationship?
100-fold. Bob was never a very caring. Well, he was caring, but he didn't show it. He didn't know how to show it, didn't want to show it. And that's just completely changed now. I'm up for all the kisses and cuddles I can get. It's nice to be open and honest about my feelings now. I can be me. I don't have to have this persona of Bob that I created over a number of years. If I love somebody, I can tell them I love them. If I want to give somebody a hug, I'll give them a hug. I've become what I call myself a holder-on. If I'm sat next to anybody, I've got to be holding onto their arm. If I'm walking along through the street with somebody, I've got to be holding onto their arm. I love the physical contact. I've got over 40 years of keeping myself distant from people and not showing my feelings. That it's all coming out in one big love bundle, and I just can't show my love and my affection for people enough.
The future's bright, as they say.
Amazing, really, how they have managed to adjust so well as a family to what could have broken them up. Frankly, it has broken up many couples in the past. Big decision, isn't it? You know, do you stay or do you go when the person that you have loved for many years changes in such a way? You want to support them, but could you still be that couple? Absolutely, says Joe and Roxy from Churchdown. If this story is relevant to you or someone you know, there is a group called Gloucester that gives advice and support locally. You just Google Gloucester and you can email them for more information. Yaz and The Only Way Is Up. Good morning, Anna King, BBC Radio Gloucestershire. We're talking sports bras later, just flagging it up. Just going out for a jog or down the gym. Bear that in mind. But remember earlier in the hour we were hearing from the family from Churchdown then adjusting to a whole new world after a life-changing decision from Bob. Now, Bob was a bodyguard and he's been married to Joe for many years, but Bob is now Roxy Wallace, because he admitted to his wife Joe, and it took him a lot to do so, as you can imagine, that he couldn't go on as he was and wanted a sex change. With 2 children, that's could have proved a very difficult journey, but actually they seem to be doing remarkably well, including Joe, which frankly, you know, it must be hard to come through all this and also to make the decision to stay with somebody you loved in one way and is now so very different.
To have somebody that is so happy, that is so outgoing, so confident, and why would I walk away from that? That's my understanding of it. You love somebody for what's on the inside of them, not necessarily what's on the outside.
Joe speaking to me earlier, and once that was been broadcast, Doreen rang in from Churchdown because Doreen is Joe's grandmother. Good morning to you, Doreen.
Morning, Anna.
So this has been quite a journey you've been sort of watching and involved with as the family. How do you feel about Joe and how she's, you know, managing to deal so well with it all?
Well, actually, I and the whole family are absolutely proud of Jo, and she's just amazing. She is just an amazing person, the way she's dealt with it, and that's all I can say really is that they're happier now than they've been for a long, long time, and it was a shock to the family, of course. You don't expect anything like this to happen, but when Roxy first came and told us, as Bob, about 2.5 years ago, what was happening, it was a kind of a relief, really, because he was so, he looked so ill, he'd lost so much weight, and we thought that he was going to come and tell us that he'd got a terminal illness.
Wow.
Of course, when he came and told us that it wasn't that, although it was a big shock, it was relief, really, to think that he hadn't got anything that was going to happen to him, like that he was going to die,
Yeah.
which we really, honestly, we thought that was happening because he looked so terribly ill and unhappy.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, in 2.5 years, the change is so remarkable. Can I say absolutely remarkable?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
what I understand from what they were saying to me earlier is that you know, he was so unhappy, so depressed, and now he is so happy, and that has actually improved not just their relationship but the children and everybody. Is that what you're seeing as well?
Well, absolutely. I mean, William, of course, he's a dear little boy. And William is, I don't know if they told you, but he's on the autistic spectrum, and life has been so difficult, really, for Joe, what with one thing and another. But William's a happy little boy. He's a dear little boy, and it's obvious that he thinks the world of his mummy, Roxy.
Yeah, he's got mum and he's got mummy Roxy, and everything seems to have worked out remarkably well.
It does.
It's a relief, you know, all round, I guess, that for the family and for you as sort of the grandmother to see it all working out so well.
Well, long may it continue.
Indeed. Nice to speak to you, Doreen. Thanks for your call.